All right, give me 1 sec. I'm coming. 1 sec.
I can't believe I'm about to do this.
When I look back on the past 6 years, the greatest and hardest lesson I learned was that life constantly changes. During this wild and uncertain journey, if you are lucky enough to find that one person who slows down time and makes you the happiest you've ever been, well, you better hold on tight.
This is where it all began 6 years ago. Anna, you know where I'm at right now. I'm at the putt-putting course I took you to on our first date. It's raining and thundering. We're in Cleveland right now. You've asked me over the years, Ian, when did you fall in love with me? I know you don't believe it, but I think it was right here on this course. And I just had this feeling like I want to be with this girl forever, especially when you started playing Blink-182 in the car.
Shortly after that first date, we were walking across stage at separate high school graduations, heading into the best summer of our lives. I think anyone that falls in love for the first time can agree. The beginning feels like something out of a movie.
Unless Anna was lifeguarding or I was washing golf carts, we spent every waking moment together going on whatever adventures we could find around Cleveland. Roller coasters, endless cliff jumping, concerts, late nights with friends, and a whole lot of sneaking Anna into my basement.
She was the girl I could do everything and nothing with. It felt like we were always in our own little world.
In hindsight, I like to think our attitude towards adventuring and risk-taking we had that summer was one of the reasons chasing our dreams in the future felt so natural. Although it's fun to look back on our past now, the summer was coming to an end and the scariest thing we had to do was look towards our future. I was heading to Indiana University and Anna was driving 10 hours the opposite direction to the University of South Carolina. It was college. No way long distance could work out. That's what we told ourselves as we decided to end our summer romance and head separate ways towards a fresh start. We were so dang busy. Anna had to focus on dance and I was joining a fraternity. We were making new friends, staying on top of our classes, and learning how to live in a brand new place without our parents' help. Even with all this on our plate, we talked as often as possible because before anything else, we were best friends. First semester flew by and during our first Christmas break back at home, we made the biggest decision of our lives. We decided to take our chances and go long distance the next 3.5 years, visiting each other as much as possible. It was tough. If there's one thing college taught us, it's that the most important parts of a relationship are trust and constant communication. Something very special that came from all this time apart was just how excited we were to see each other every single summer. It was the strongest form of anticipation, and once summer started, so did our crazy adventures. Anna always blew me away because not only was she beautiful and smart, but she was always down to do something crazy with me, like go bungee jumping in Canada. Fast forward all the way to junior year, we finally caught a break. After going back and forth with our school for months, we found a university in Thailand that worked for the both of us. I would have to say, other than staying together, studying abroad in Southeast Asia will go down as one of the most important decisions of our life, and one that made us who we are today. I guess living on the other side of the world wasn't uncomfortable enough for us, so we chose to document our journey on YouTube in the hopes of becoming travel vloggers. I think you could say we're a bit crazy, but one thing's for sure. Just like that first summer together, we took a risk and never looked back. During our time in Thailand, each new experience was better than the next, and it truly made us closer than ever before. Don't get me wrong, travel isn't this magical potion that fixes everything in a relationship. It actually does the exact opposite, because around every corner is a new challenge. Taxi drivers and everyone in general don't speak your language. Getting lost becomes all too familiar. You get sick or get in a motorbike accident, leaving you in the hospital. Trying to sleep as cockroaches are crawling around you on a 13-hour train ride, or the fact that you both need to drop Biology 101 because you are studying at the top medical university in Thailand. That last one is just ridiculous. Travel was a huge test to our relationship, and that's when I realized we were making it for the long haul. Instead of getting mad at each other for getting lost, we learned to go with the flow and ended up in the most unforgettable situations with locals or at places off the beaten path. Even though it sounds messed up and she was in lots of pain, one of Anna's favorite memories was spending 5 days in a Thai hospital. She just loved the fact that I took care of her even with the bedpan situation, and how I fed her every single day and didn't leave her side while we watched more movies than I could handle.
Ian says I smell really bad.
Even though I absolutely hated getting hurt in my numerous motorbike accidents, I love the way Anna took care of me. And on that 13-hour train ride, I learned I am terrified of cockroaches, but Anna, on the other hand, slipped off her shoe, squashed them all, laughed at me, and then slowly fell back asleep without a care in the world. After traveling abroad, we were back at our schools for our final year apart, and to be honest, I remember our relationship being the strongest it's ever been at that point. Any petty fights or jealousy we experienced in the beginning were completely
gone. We both knew what we wanted and even set up a goal for ourselves. It was either we start real jobs after we graduate or save up enough to go on a year of travel and chase our dreams. Good or bad, when you want something that much, you reach a level of hard work and focus. It's the only thing you think about. Over the next 8 months, we worked as many jobs as possible and sold everything we could find. 1 month before our college graduation, I was visiting Anna at USC and we randomly decided to buy our one-way ticket back to Thailand. Definitely jumped the gun a bit there, and it was yet another risky move, but one we knew felt right. I still remember sitting our parents down and telling them that this is what we wanted to do with our life. We were met with some backlash by both our parents, but they knew deep down that this wasn't going to stop us. Long story short, we ended up saving a good amount of money and finally set off on our year of travel on October 2nd, 2019. This was the moment we sacrificed for, the moment we dreamed so long and hard about since study abroad, but something felt much different. We weren't in college anymore and we didn't have our parents as backup, and this wasn't just another hobby that we were trying out for fun. It was the real deal, and it was either time to sink or swim. Over the next 5 months, we worked as hard as we could to get better and make something of ourselves. Like we've said to each other in the past, we told ourselves no matter what happens, we'd stick together because deep down, that's all that mattered. Our time abroad was crazy. 1 second it was fun and exciting, and the next we were stressed and scared. There were so many ups and downs, but we were making progress and we were very proud. Then the unthinkable happened. February 22nd, 2020. Anna's best friend from college, Alexa, had suddenly passed away.
My best friend in the whole world passed away today.
Thousands of miles away from home, you can't describe how helpless and lost we felt. None of it felt real, but the next day we were on a 24-hour flight back home. There's no really easy way to put it. Losing someone that young sucks. It's a pain that Anna revisits constantly, especially when she just wants to call Alexa about her crazy day. The hardest part of it all was realizing Alexa wasn't coming back and life was going to keep moving no matter how miserable we felt. When it rains, it truly pours. 2 weeks after that grave call, COVID was sweeping across the world, and before we knew it, our future and travel were stripped away in a blink of an eye. After all these terrible things happened so fast, we couldn't help but learn one important lesson. Life isn't fair, and because of that, it's all about how you react to these situations without ever giving up. As lockdowns were coming fast, we moved down to Anna's parents' condo in Florida, and this is where we had long talks and tried to pick up the pieces of our life. I don't think anyone could have guessed COVID would be a permanent part of our life. The longest days would roll into weeks and then months. We got used to at-home workouts, stayed away from the news as much as possible, and really tried to find the joy in each passing day, especially with Anna's dog Palmer. But one day during lockdown, something randomly popped into Anna's head. She remembers looking into something called van life, which allowed people to travel the US for cheap. I never thought this was going to be possible, but the more we looked into it, our future slowly began revealing itself again. If everything happens for a reason, then this was our time to make the best of a terrible situation.
I'm so excited!
It's our first car!
With the small amount of money we had left to our names, we bought this tiny Ford Transit Connect and built it out as cheap as possible. If we thought traveling abroad would test our relationship, living in a bed on wheels was a whole nother level. After 4 amazing months of barely taking showers, running from forest fires, a couple breakdowns, and everything in between, we would do it all over again in a heartbeat. I guess you could say this was our silver lining, because shortly after this trip, we started receiving thousands of messages, began making some money, worked with some amazing brands, and finally started turning our dreams into reality. If you're gonna learn one thing from our crazy love story, it's this. You can't just give up on somebody you love because the situation's not ideal. Great relationships aren't great because they have no problems. They're great because both people care so much about each other that they find a way to make it work.
Another thing you could learn from this video is not waiting 6 years to marry the love of your life. That's why I'm super excited to introduce the sponsor of this video, James Allen. James Allen is the #1 online retailer for diamonds with over 200,000 conflict-free diamonds to choose from. If you're like me, which you probably are, you have no idea what you're doing when you're buying an engagement ring, and that's why having James Allen walk me through the entire process since day one was super easy. First of all, their website is by far the most user-friendly experience you could find, and their customer service was so invested in me that it felt like I was talking to a friend. I was kind of scared
Anna was gonna find the package, so they were even nice enough to ship it to the FedEx down the street. They gave us a discount code to give to you guys. You can get 25% off using the code OTHERSIDE25. It's pretty amazing, and you can thank me later, but let's get back in the video.
Today's the day. We're heading to Europe.
With our first ever Europe trip planned, I knew Greece would be a perfect spot to propose. Let me tell you, hiding the ring in my camera backpack was terrifying, and I couldn't count how many times I freaked out and checked to see if it was still in there. The scariest thing about all this was knowing I had to keep it safe for a month before even getting to Greece because our first stop was Turkey.
Is the bag heavy, Ann?
The bag is heavy. My spirit is high.
Just to set the scene a little, I am the guy that's lost a camera, a wallet, and a phone while traveling, so this was definitely a test in my maturity. Now time for how I planned this secret proposal. Long before leaving on our Europe trip, I created a secret Airbnb account and took a risky move by booking a place in Santorini before Greece opened back up for travel. Then was the hardest part. If you don't already know us and couldn't tell from our crazy story, we aren't these luxury travelers that spend lots of money on expensive hotels. Because it would have been out of the ordinary, I asked my friend Daniel from back home to make a fake Gmail account and act like the owner of the Airbnb. We've worked with hotels before, and when I told Anna about the email we received from Georgios Andino asking us to take photos of his property, she completely bought it.
We're heading to our hotel in Santorini. We probably could never stay here if it weren't for us working with the hotel.
Anna.
Guys, this is like beyond my wildest dreams.
All right, give me 1 sec. I'm coming. 1 sec.
I can't believe I'm about to do this.
The moment I've been waiting for since 2015 was finally here.
We've been together for a while now, and I love you so much. Adriana Marjetovic, will you marry me? Aww.
I have to tell you something.
Uh-oh, yes. No way. Oh my God, Papa.
This is the perfect little setup to celebrate. So cheers to you guys. Cheers to Anna.
Cheers to you.
She deserves this so much.
I miss you, Alexa, and I love you, Ian. That's all I have for tonight. Thanks for watching this amazing video. I can't stop crying.